About 3 years ago, the word love started to come up more frequently in my system change work. I found it quite uncomfortable at first. The word love kept taking me by surprise. I wasn't used to hearing the word love in a work context. It felt uncomfortable for me, like a small snake wriggling around in my tummy, making me feel nauseous. I could feel myself gently frowning and my lips pursing together, my chin and forehead crinkling at the discomfort. I just didn't usually associate the word love with work. Digging deeper into the topic area, I was blown away to discover that love can occur with even the smallest encounter. Any kind of small connection can be labelled with the word love. It doesn't just mean romantic love. It relates to connection. And this idea gave me permission and a completely new framing with which to use and understand and experience the expression of the word love. And it took me back to when I'd first read Humberto Maturana's book, The Origins of Humanness in the Biology of Love. It was when I was reading this book that encouraged me to consider the underlying emotions in our work situations and how they might impact people's work and the way they interact and collaborate with each other. And I wondered where and when we'd lost the emotion of love from our working lives. In the challenging times that were upon us as we went through COVID-19, when we were locked down in our homes, I wondered if we were hungering for oneness and love. And this encounter with the word love reminded me of the cravings for social inclusion and belonging, nurturing and relationships that we all have. And this has become one of the central concepts in my systems practice work. And I read about this in Matthew Lieberman's book, Social, Why Our Brains Are Wired to Connect, back in 2013. And I immediately started embedding the learning from the book into my systems practice. I started focusing on values, beliefs, identity, and the human craving to be socially connected. And in the book, Matthew Lieberman explains that we can experience damage to our social bonds in the same way we experience pain. It's interesting, isn't it, that we're so sensitive to social rejection that it can cause pain. I guess being wired to be part of the gang, to have connections and to belong can be a good thing. But if that sense of belonging in an organisation or workplace is dependent upon keeping our heads down, keeping quiet about issues, not doing anything radical, people are likely to conform to that norm. They need the belonging and they need the work. Some say it's useful to challenge conformity and encourage ourselves and others to stick our heads above the parapet and make bold and different moves. Take chances. Be risk takers and dare to fail. But what about this fear of social rejection as a result of standing out? Do we know the extent of what we're asking people to step into? Do we encourage people to equip themselves to deal with the pain of exclusion? How do we support them as they reduce their fear so that it becomes manageable? Do we need to? How do we create an environment together that allows people's authenticity to flourish, showcasing their gifts, their personality, their talents, their plethora of ideas, their powers of connection, and their excellent networking abilities? How do we support and encourage each other as we forge collaborative partnerships when the underlying emotions in our situations are not always built on things like social connection and love? When they're built on things like competition and even combat.